Hello, how have you all been? Again, it's been a fairly long gap between my previous video and this one, but here I am. And today I wish to talk about something which has been preying on my mind for many years. And what actually spurred me on was a newspaper column that I read at the beginning of this month. I couldn't find the newspaper column, the hard copy of it, but I did manage to find its e-version, which I will be posting very soon. So I will be posting the link to the e-version, which you can certainly read. This was published on the 1st of November, and it's a column that is written by Bharati S. Pradhan, who is known, of course, as a film journalist. Many of you will know. She writes regularly for the Telegraph. She has been writing for the Telegraph for, I don't know, about 20 to 25 years, I think. So she's been writing for the Telegraph for a very long time. And this is not the first time that she has talked about this subject, namely sort of the presence of homosexuality in Bollywood. So this is not the first time that she's written, but this time she has focused on a particular actor, Arjun Mathur. So what I wish to do is I'm going to read out a little bit from this article that she has written, this column. And I would really want to understand exactly where is Arjun Mathur coming from when he is saying certain things about his performance in the OTT series Made in Heaven. Many of you may have already seen Made in Heaven, but those of you who haven't, you can certainly give it a try. But anyway, that is beside the point. What I really wish to do is try to understand exactly where Arjun Mathur is coming from, and to try and understand why he is saying the things that he is saying. Now, this has been a constant source of almost irritation for me, which is to say that there are some people, some actors, as it were, who are remarkably uncomfortable about playing the role of a homosexual man, playing the role of a gay man. This is something that not all actors are uncomfortable with. I can name about 20 to 25 actors who have done an extremely good job. They've even won awards for playing roles of gay men. But there are some actors who are rather hesitant about it. Some actors, of course, are quite clear about never wanting to do such a role. They would never want to do the role of a gay man. Other actors have done the role of a gay man, but then they have gone to great lengths to say that, yes, I'm playing the role of a gay man, but please don't make the mistake of thinking that I'm gay myself. I'm not. I'm heterosexual, so please don't make that mistake. I have a girlfriend, or had a girlfriend, or at some time will have a girlfriend. Yes. So therefore, I am completely heterosexual. Make no mistake. This is just a role that I'm playing. Now, where does this anxiety come from? Now, I have been going through some old sort of newspaper clippings. In those days, I used to actually clip things from the newspaper. So this is something that came to my attention. This is from the Calcutta Times of the Times of India. And this particular interview with an actor that many of us will probably not remember, well, because he's not exactly great shakes, somebody called Anuj Swahni. And he gave an interview which was published on 3rd of September 2008. Yes, so it was published the 3rd of September 2008, so therefore quite some time ago. And what he's doing is, over here, I'm actually going to show it to you. I am open to playing a gay character. I am open to playing a gay character. I remember even when I saw this news clip, I I really burst out laughing because it really brought home to me that is this an act of desperation when you actually put it out into the media that I am open to playing a gay character. There is one word that is missing in that headline, which is I am open to playing even a gay character. So I am so desperate for a role. I am so desperate for a role that I would even play a gay character. And that is something which has stayed with me, which is why I've preserved this particular news clipping from September 2008. Now, let me try and put Anuj Swani's interview in context, and then we are going to go to Bharati S. Pradhan's article, or rather column that came out on the 1st of November. Now, when Anuj Swani is actually making or giving this interview, we must understand that what has also begun happening is that the Delhi High Court has started hearing on decriminalizing Section 377. So you have the health minister who is saying that 377 should be taken off the Indian Penal Code. Then there are other ministers. This is of course a Congress government. Then there are other ministers who are saying that no, homosexuality is actually, namely Ghulam Nabi Azad, who's saying that homosexuality is a disease and it should be cured. So even within the Congress government, there are two conflicting stories that are coming out. So I think Ghulam Nabi Azad was then the Home Minister. So on the one hand, the Home Minister is saying the homosexuality is a disease, and on the other hand, the Health Minister, Ramadas, who is actually saying that no, far from it being a disease, it should actually be, homosexuality should be decriminalized. So there is a lot of discussion that is happening in 2008. Of course, we all know very well that by July 2009, homosexuality would be decriminalized, temporarily as it turned out by Delhi High Court. But anyway, so this is something which is happening. In this context, what we really see is Anuj Swani saying, I am even willing to play the role of a gay man. And Anuj Swani is saying this at a time when, there are several depictions of homosexuality that are coming out of Hollywood. And so therefore it is not exactly unheard of that nobody is playing the role of gay men. So therefore, this is something which is already beginning to happen. And in spite of that, Anuj Swani feels that this is something that he probably needs to put out there. Now we come to the interview that was given to Bharati S. Pradhan by Arjun Mathur. Now, this is what Arjun Mathur is saying. I mean, I find it really extraordinary that this is something that Bharati Pradhan actually bothers to say in her column. But she says it was inevitable. So she says that another reward has been a bunch of proposals for the male lead from men out there. Besides inescapable headlines that asked if Arjun Mathur was really gay. Inescapable headlines. Really. So therefore, when you are playing the role of a gay man, there will be headlines that will speculate about your sexuality. Inescapable. Inescapable headlines that asked if Arjun Mathur was really gay. He did play a homosexual twice. Oh my God. Oh yes. Well, I mean, if he had played homosexual once, that could be forgiven. But if he's playing it twice, something's clearly wrong here. Oh my God. So therefore, what we really need to remember, of course, the thing about us is that we know little and we read less. Well, for those of us who are actually wondering, oh my God, how can an actor play a gay man not once but twice? I would request them to look up a certain British actor by the name of Gary Oldman. Look up Gary Oldman. Because if you look at the career of Gary Oldman, you will find that he also plays the role of gay men at least twice, if not more than once. He plays the role of the gay British playwright Joe Orton, And he also plays the role of the boyfriend of the British writer J.R. Ackley in the film We Think the World of You. Of course, the film in which Gary Oldman plays the role of Joe Orton is called Prick Up Your Ears. So those are the two films that you may want to look at. Anyway, doesn't matter. As I said, we know little and we read less. So, of course, there are going to be inescapable headlines, apparently, speculating whether Arjun Mathur is really gay. It was inevitable to wonder, how does an actor do physically intimate scenes with his own sex? Is it really inevitable? What is so inevitable is something that I would really want to ask Bharati as Pradhan. So therefore, I'm just trying to, because I'm rather stupid, so I have a little bit of a difficulty understanding these things. I am trying to understand that if an actor played the role, for example, of a serial killer, or if the actor played the role of an astronaut, or if the actor played the role of a villager, then would it be inevitable to then wonder, how does an actor play the role of an astronaut in spite of his not being one? Would that be inevitable? Would it be inevitable to ask, how does an actor who lives in the city play the role of a villager? Would that be inevitable? No. But in this case, it becomes inevitable to ask how an actor can do physically intimate scenes with his own sex. Was this also the question that was asked of Shabana Azmi and Nandita Das when they were physically intimate in the film The Fire? I don't remember anything of that. Okay, but what is even more interesting is Arjun Mathur's rather wonderful response. He says, being a straight heterosexual male. Okay, so this part, of course, I needed to understand, because I wasn't aware that if you are straight, you are automatically heterosexual. But maybe this is something that I needed to learn from Arjun Mathur, that one has to be straight heterosexual as opposed to being a gay heterosexual, right? Or as opposed to being a straight homosexual. These are categories that I don't understand, that maybe someday when I meet Arjun Mathur, maybe he can explain this to me. Exactly why did he have to say that he is a straight heterosexual male? Was saying that he is straight not enough? Was saying that he is a heterosexual male not enough? Why this overstatement of his sexuality? Methinks the man doth protest too much. Being a straight heterosexual male, every time I've had to get intimate with a man, sure, there is that 10-minute anxiety before the shot. 10 a minute? Really? 10 whole minutes of anxiety? What are you anxious about, Mr. Mathur? Exactly where is that anxiety coming from? But I broke that barrier within me during I Am. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. Because it scared me to do an intimate scene with a man. I told myself I have to overcome it. Well, good for you. I am so proud of you. So let me ask you this, Mr. Mathur, if you're watching this video, would it also scare you? Would you have a 10-minute anxiety attack if you were given the role of a serial killer? Would you experience a 10-minute anxiety attack? Would you be scared if you had to be given the role of an astronaut? Because since I'm assuming that you have never in your real life have had sex with a man, I can understand your anxiety. But in your real life, have you played the role of have you been an astronaut? Have you been a serial killer? So, clearly 10-minute anxiety. Not 11, not 9, 10-minute anxiety. Okay, so it scared me. Well, but of course, because it scared me to do an intimate scene with a man, I told myself I have to overcome it. Zoya, Nitya Mehra and the other women who created Made in Heaven ensured that gay didn't mean dandy, foppish gestures. Another problem over there, because now we are witnessing the birth of what is called the straight gay person, apparently, in the sense that we have a certain kind of a new homosexual stereotype that is also fast taking the place of the old homosexual stereotype. So the old homosexual stereotype used to be effeminate. The new homosexual stereotype is that I'm resolutely not going to be effeminate. I'll be normal. I'll be a normal guy who likes normal guys. So there is this sense of, creating a kind of homosexuality that would be visually acceptable to those who believe in gender conformity, even if they don't believe in sexual conformity. That, I think, is the audience that this is actually meant to reassure, is that I'm going to do a gay role, but please don't worry, I am not going to be effeminate. I will just be one of the guys. I'm not terribly sure how I regard this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There was nothing in my mannerisms or behavior that was blatant. Blatant. Right? So there was no intense preparation or psyching that I had to do. Very good. Yes, it wasn't always easy. Like the day we had to do the most explicitly intimate scene, we had to look naked. Oh, shocking. I was wearing a skin-colored underwear, but the elastic was showing, so it had to be cut. It meant I was as good as not wearing anything, and there was the camera rolling with me and that poor boy. Oh, poor boy. It was traumatic for 5 minutes. Then we were okay. Oh, yes, of course. I mean, I can understand that it must be traumatic to do a sex scene on the screen. Yes? And it should be even doubly traumatic when you're doing a sex scene with a same-sex partner. Why exactly is it traumatic? Where is the trauma coming from? So again, the same question. Would it be any less traumatic if instead of having sex with that man, you were killing that man? Would killing that man be easier than having sex with him? So what is really happening over here is warming up. Arjun laughed. How I do these scenes is Ram ka naam leke kood paro. Oh my God. I imagine my girlfriend's face on the guy and just go for it. Well, thank you for the tip, Mr. Mathur. This is brilliant. Thank you for the tip. So basically, let me understand this. So if you are ever given the role of a murderer, when you are going to act as if you're murdering the actor, do you actually imagine the person that you would want to kill in real life so that you can do the acting properly? Is that your acting method? How wonderful. So he makes it very, very clear that he has a girlfriend. Yes, please don't ever forget, he has a girlfriend, he has a girlfriend, he has a girlfriend. He is a straight heterosexual man, not a straight homosexual man. So this interview, I think, is rather hilarious. And those of you who want to read the interview, I will, of course, supply the link in the description of this video. But the point is much greater. The point is not that this is an absolutely ludicrous interview, but the point is something greater. Where is that anxiety coming from? Because clearly, this is not the anxiety that all actors share. I have not come across interviews with either Antonio Banderas or Tom Hanks or Sean Penn or Manoj Bajpai or Nandita Das or Shabana Azmi. I could go on. I have not come across interviews with these actors, and who are by all measures incredibly good actors, where they have talked about this level of anxiety, of being scared, of being traumatized by the prospect of pretending to have sex with a person of your own, of your own gender. So, but there are going to be some actors who are going to be traumatized. Now, how do we make sense of them? Insecurity. Insecurity about your own sexuality, but much more insecurity, greater insecurity about your acting skills. Because, Mr. Mathur, ultimately, we are not interested to know whether you are a straight heterosexual man or whether you're a gay heterosexual man. We are not interested to know whether you have had a girlfriend or have a girlfriend or will have a girlfriend. All that we want to see is good acting. So that is all that it is. So if you are so traumatized by the idea of having sex with another man purely on screen, even pretending to have sex with another man on screen, then I must say that there are certain inhibitions, that there are certain exercises that you probably still need to undertake as an actor before you can call yourself that. I know of many actors, and I know of one actor personally, Saurabh Saraswat, who recently did this absolutely wonderful short film, which is available on the internet, called Grey, in which he plays the role of a gay man. And he, at no point in his interviews, talked about him experiencing any fear or any anxiety about playing the role of a gay man. Because Saurabh Saraswat, unlike some other actors, know that being an actor means overcoming these anxieties, overcoming these fears secretly, without making such a big show of it. So therefore, what I would really want to know from Arjun Mathur and other actors of that type is, tomorrow if you are given the role of a serial killer, would you then therefore give an interview in which you're going to say, well, you see, I experienced a 10-minute anxiety. I was so scared playing the role of a serial killer because I'm not a serial killer in my day-to-day life. Would you say that? So if you wouldn't say that for somebody, some role that is absolutely has got no relation with your lived personal life, why do you think it is necessary to do it in this case? Where is the insecurity coming from? Where exactly are you failing as an actor? Maybe these are the questions that we really need to ask ourselves. Maybe these are the things that all actors need to ask ourselves, and also those of us who are either writers or academics. This is a question that we also need to ask ourselves, is that when we present a paper on homosexuality or when we write about homosexuality, we perhaps should not then go about saying, well, you know, I have written about homosexuality, but I am not gay myself. It's not necessary. We are not interested in who you are interested in sleeping with. We are only interested in one thing: the quality of your work. Thank you very much.